The red and blue lights sliced through the darkness, painting the rain-soaked streets in fear. Eli Turner's hands gripped the steering wheel, steady, visible, and trembling. "Step out of the car," the officer barked. The barrel of a gun glinted through the window. Eli's voice was calm, but his heartbeat wasn't. He'd heard stories like this. He'd argued cases like this. But tonight he was the case. The officer's voice cut through the night like a blade. "Hands where I can see 'em. Now." And as Eli slowly raised his hands, a thought whispered in his mind. Will I make it home tonight? But what happened next would make every headline look small. Earlier that evening, Eli was just another father trying to get home. A respected civil rights attorney, fresh off winning a landmark case. A case that quietly exposed corruption within a police precinct just a few towns over. In the passenger seat beside him sat a pink bike with training wheels. His daughter's birthday gift. He promised her he'd be home before dark. He kept his promises. Always. His wife had called moments earlier. "Drive safe," she said, with that mother's instinct that feels storms before they come. Now, here he was, rain dripping off his suit jacket, a gun pointed at his chest. He told himself, it's just a routine stop. But deep down, something screamed otherwise. Black male, dark sedan, possible suspect, the officer muttered into his radio. And when Eli reached for his wallet, the officer reached for his gun. Time froze. The world shrunk to breath and fear. The officer's shadow loomed over Eli like a verdict already written. His badge glimmered in the rain, power etched in metal, pulsing with authority. "On your knees," the officer demanded. Eli's voice cracked through the storm. "Officer, I'm an attorney. I'm not resisting." "Down," he barked again, louder, angrier, emptier. And so Eli knelt. In the same suit he wore to defend justice, he knelt on cold asphalt. A man stripped of dignity, treated like a threat in a world he'd spent his life protecting. A nearby driver slowed, recording. The rain blurred faces, but not intentions. Then, something changed in the cop's eyes. A flicker, confusion, maybe fear. Like he'd just realized he might have arrested the wrong man. Dispatch, suspect in custody, 10 miles north. Repeat, suspect already in custody. The air froze. Eli looked up. The officer's grip on his weapon loosened. He glanced at the ID he'd snatched from Eli's jacket pocket and froze. "Elijah Turner," he whispered. "You're—" "Yes," Eli replied quietly. "Attorney Elijah Turner, Civil Rights Division." The silence was deafening. The same cop who dragged him out of his car was the same cop scheduled to testify against Eli in court next week. His face drained of color. His authority cracked like glass. Eli stood, rain dripping from his collar. He looked the officer dead in the eyes and said, "Tell me, officer, am I still a suspect or just a statistic?" But the real storm wasn't what happened that night. It was what came after. The footage spread like wildfire. Headlines screamed, "Prominent black lawyer detained at gunpoint." The world saw what the badge had tried to bury. His daughter saw his face on the news before he made it home. Her birthday gift still sat in the car, untouched. His wife held him that night, her tears soaking the fabric of his shirt. "They could have killed you," she whispered. He only answered, "They almost did." He wanted to heal, but every headline reminded him he was lucky, not safe. And just when he thought the chaos was ending, the body cam footage leaked to the public. The city roared. The same streets that watched Eli kneel now marched for him. His name became a movement. Signs, speeches, justice echoing through every block. The cop, Officer Reed, stood trial for misconduct. In the courtroom, Eli sat silent, composed. He didn't need revenge. The truth spoke for him. When the verdict came, Reed's badge hit the desk with a metallic clang. He lost his job. But Eli? He lost something Reed could never give back. Peace. Justice didn't roar that day. It whispered, finally. But Eli knew this wasn't the end of his story. It was the beginning of his purpose. Weeks later, he took his daughter to the park. She rode her pink bike in circles, smiling. He watched her, the way fathers do when they've seen how easily the world can steal moments like this. They profiled my skin, he thought, but they couldn't erase my humanity. His daughter asked, "Daddy, are the police still mad at you?" He smiled softly. "No, baby. We're just helping them learn what's right." And now, when the lights flash behind him on the road, he no longer flinches. He breathes. He remembers. Courage isn't being unafraid. It's driving home anyway. Eli Turner stared at the phone in his hand, the line still dead. That voice, distorted, threatening, echoed in his mind. "Mr. Turner, you think one dirty cop was all there was?" He parted the blinds just enough to see it. A black SUV parked under the streetlight, headlights off, engine still running. He felt the weight of the silence pressing against his chest. Something told him this wasn't about one bad officer anymore. This was bigger, deeper, and he had just become a problem to the wrong people. He was about to find out how far the system would go to protect its own. By sunrise, Eli tried to pretend life was normal again. His daughter laughed over cereal. His wife hummed in the kitchen. And yet, every car that passed the window made his pulse spike. At work, whispers followed him through the halls. Some colleagues called him a hero. Others avoided eye contact, afraid of what his name might attract. But Eli wasn't afraid of attention. He was afraid of silence, the kind that comes before something breaks. When he stepped into his office that morning, a single envelope sat on his desk, unmarked, sealed, heavy. Inside, a flash drive. No note. He plugged it in, and on the screen, a folder appeared, Internal Evidence, Confidential. Inside files, dozens of them, body cam footage, email threads, names, dates, payoffs. This wasn't just one department. It was a network. The deeper he went, the darker it became. Corrupt officers transferring money under community initiatives. Lawyers paid to bury misconduct reports. And at the top of the list, a familiar name, Chief Dalton Reed. The same man who defended Officer Reed, his brother. Eli sat back, staring at the screen. This wasn't an isolated crime. It was a system feeding on silence, and he just hacked its pulse. But whoever sent him that flash drive wasn't just helping him. They were baiting him. He knew it the moment his office lights flickered, and the flash drive's files began deleting themselves, one by one. File erased. He yanked the drive out, but the damage was done. And that's when his phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Stop digging, Turner. You don't know who you're fighting." He did now. For days, Eli felt eyes on him everywhere. Black SUVs. Silent phone calls. His car alarm triggered twice at night. Nothing stolen. The message was clear. "We're watching." He told his wife to take their daughter to her mother's house. She didn't argue. She knew better than to ask. At night, he sat alone at his desk, the flash drive clutched in his hand. All that remained were fragments of data, enough to prove something massive was being covered up. A knock. 3 times. He looked through the peephole, 2 men in suits, badges flashing. "Mr. Turner, we need to ask you some questions about the Reed case." Their smiles didn't reach their eyes. And when they stepped inside uninvited, he knew these weren't allies. They weren't here to question. They were here to warn. When the agents left, Eli had a choice. Stay silent and stay safe, or fight back and risk everything. He chose the fight. That night, he reached out to an old friend, investigative journalist Maya Brooks, one of the few people he trusted with the truth. He told her everything, showed her the fragments, the names, the deleted files. She leaned back, eyes wide. Eli, if this is real, you're not going after one cop. You're going after a machine. Then let's jam it, he said. Together, they began piecing together what was left. Every lead, every payment, every shadow. But someone was watching them. A car followed them to the newsroom. Another sat outside her apartment. The truth was closing in, and so were they. 2 days later, a story broke, but not the one Eli expected. Headline: Civil rights lawyer under investigation for evidence tampering. They flipped the script. Someone leaked edited versions of the same files he had, twisted to frame him as the manipulator. He lost clients, sponsors. His law firm distanced itself overnight. Maya, a voicemail. Eli, they know about me. They. Her phone went dark. Eli's world collapsed. The same system he exposed just erased his name from the side of justice. But he wasn't done. Not yet. Eli vanished for 3 days. No calls, no posts, nothing, until the morning of the Chiefs' televised award ceremony, when a live broadcast was hacked mid-speech. Every screen in the city flickered, and then footage appeared, raw, uncut body cam clips. Officers laughing, exchanging money, silencing victims. A final image, Chief Dalton Reed shaking hands with city officials. Captioned, "The system protects its own." The feed cut. The internet erupted. Eli Turner had gone from victim to whistleblower, from target to threat. By nightfall, his name trended worldwide, but his location? Unknown. The FBI called it cyberterrorism. The public called it justice. And somewhere, in a dim motel room, Eli stared at a cracked mirror, dark circles under his eyes, determination in his breath. He whispered, "They wanted a war, now they've got one." He froze. Woman's voice, whispering, "Eli, they found Maya." Eli turned slowly toward the door, his reflection watching back like a ghost of who he used to be. The truth was finally out, but the price of exposing it was only beginning. Eli Turner hadn't slept in 3 days. The man who once stood in courtrooms now hid in shadows, hunted, accused, and angry. Across the room, Maya Brooks, bruised, shaken, alive, sat clutching a phone. She'd escaped the same men who tried to silence her. Her voice trembled. "They raided my apartment, Eli. Everything's gone. But I still have this." On her screen appeared encrypted folders, new evidence. This time, not deleted, not doctored. And among the files, one name froze: Eli Cold, Operation Clean Slate. It wasn't a cover-up. It was an agenda. Operation Clean Slate wasn't about cleaning corruption. It was about erasing evidence, by any means. Every whistleblower, every victim, every lawyer who fought too loud, marked as a threat to order. And at the center of it all, Chief Dalton Reed, the same man who'd stood smiling on national television 2 nights ago, hand on heart, preaching law and order. The files revealed police units with hidden budgets, private contractors tied to political donors, and evidence manipulation buried under fake investigations. Eli and Maya realized this wasn't a story anymore. It was a war. Eli reached out to every contact left who hadn't abandoned him. A small group of lawyers, ex-cops, and journalists who still believed in the truth. They met in abandoned warehouses, churches, diners after midnight. No cameras, no phones, just conviction. He laid the evidence before them, names, dates, and payments tying the chief to a web of officials across 3 states. One of them, an ex-detective named Ramos, leaned forward. "You exposed this," he said. "You don't just destroy a precinct. You shake the country." Eli nodded. "Then let's make it shake." They began planning the drop. A coordinated release of every file, every clip, every cover-up. To every news outlet, every social feed, every voice that could not be silenced. The night before the drop, the power went out. Black SUVs flooded the street. Doors slammed. Boots thundered. Maya grabbed her laptop. "They're here." Eli rushed to hide the drive in a vent as glass shattered. Agent shouting, "Federal warrant. Turner, you're under arrest." They dragged him out, face to the ground, the same way they did that first night. But this time, he didn't plead. He smiled. Because what they didn't know was that the drop was already live. Maya had uploaded it hours earlier, and as they threw Eli into the back of a van, screens across America began to light up. Leaked files expose national police conspiracy. Chief Dalton Reed implicated in multi-state cover-up. Whistleblower lawyer arrested amid growing protests. The truth was out and unstoppable. Cities erupted. Marches in the streets. Officers removing their badges on live TV. The world had seen behind the badge, and it was bleeding. In custody, Eli sat in a dark cell, bruised, exhausted, unbroken. A young officer brought him food. Their eyes met for a moment. No hate, no fear, just realization. "You're him," the officer said quietly. "The lawyer from the video." Eli nodded. The officer whispered, "Sir, thank you." Outside, the chief's empire crumbled. Arrests, resignations, investigations. Every name Eli uncovered now faced the light. But freedom for him was far away. Weeks later, the trial began. The people versus Dalton Reed. Maya testified. So did ex-cops, journalists, and whistleblowers once silenced by fear. And then they brought Eli in, handcuffed, tired, still wearing the same suit from the night he was arrested. When the judge asked if he had anything to say before the verdict, he stood and faced the nation watching live. "You can't arrest the truth," he said. "You can only delay its arrival." The verdict came swift and loud. Guilty. Dalton Reed, sentenced to 30 years in federal prison. Multiple officers charged. Dozens of departments audited. The blue wall cracked and fell. Months later, Eli stood outside a courthouse as a free man. The air smelled of rain, but this time, it felt clean. He didn't smile much anymore. But when he did, it carried something deeper than victory, peace earned through fire. Maya started a new platform, the Justice Ledger, dedicated to exposing truth and protecting those who speak it. Eli joined her, not as a lawyer, but as a mentor. His daughter ran up to him, wearing a pink helmet, riding her bike down the sidewalk. He caught her in his arms, laughing for the first time in months. And as the sun rose, he whispered, "They tried to silence me, but truth has its own voice." Eli Turner's story began with injustice, but it ended with awakening. He taught a nation what happens when silence breaks, when courage stands tall against corruption, and when one man's pain becomes every man's purpose. They profiled his skin, underestimated his power, and forgot one thing: truth doesn't bow to fear. His fight became a movement, and his name became a promise. Justice isn't what we wait for. It's what we become.